got a wall. I went full YouTube. That was fast, huh? Barely 4 vlogs to my name. So, erotic fiction. It's cool that you're getting into that, I guess. I mean, you gonna read that book anyway? Or are you just gonna keep it as a lesson to judging books by their covers? Although I must say I am with you. I mean, I've been reading lately. I was craving fantasy. I finally got out these, The Lord of the Rings. You know them, everyone knows them except for me, I guess. But it is pretty, it's a beautiful object, this book. Like the presence of the cover. It's paperback, but like it's not, it's minimal in all the best ways. It's monolithic. I'm excited. I'm kind of embarrassed that it took me this long to start any of them, but because everyone seems to have already gotten on it, and I'm just here being older and reading it. Yeah, sorry I said I didn't want to have that book conversation. I guess I kind of jumped the gun, because, you know, it's good talking about what you're reading. It's like one of the funnest things ever. Like what you like about it. There's weird things, though, in this book that I'm noticing. Like, his pretty much favorite adjective to use to describe anything unusual is queer. He's like, there were some queer folk coming down the roadway, or it was a very queer spot in the woods, the queerest I'd ever been at. And I'm like, I wonder if that word had any connotation with gay culture at all at the time these were put out, because it was like the 50s, I think. It was just after the Second World War. 1954, yeah. So it was 1954, and I know that he was really Christian. He was a member of this like literary group called Inklings, where him and this other man, Codgel, I can't remember his first name, but they were the ones who convinced C.S. Lewis to become Catholic. And then he went and wrote like an entire series of books that were a metaphor for the death of Jesus, so like they really got him. So yeah, it's interesting thinking about like queer identity in a book where sexuality isn't really a feature in the slightest. Like, none of these characters have that aspect to themselves, and that's not what's coming through anyway. But yeah, this week has been full of printing different types of stuff. I printed some images for photo. I did some laser prints, which are like when you engrave into wood using a laser, wood or acrylic like sheets. I'll show you the prints I've made when they're all done. Hopefully they're something, but yeah, it's a pretty weird machine that I only just learned how to use. Next step after laser printing is 3D printing, so maybe I will get into that in a big way. Haven't the foggiest. Also, because we're starting to make books in my printmaking class, we went to this thing my school has called the Rare Book Library, where, you know, they've got original texts by so many artists. They have a David Shrigley original kind of pressing of one of his books. They have like Ed Rushka. Who else have I? They had a Takashi Murakami that I picked up and like screwed around with in the library. I just went and asked her, hey, can I like examine that? Or I said something stupid, or I was just like, can I look at the Takashi Murakami? And she was like, yeah. And but it was definitely the most like expensive piece of art, cultural capital that I've ever handled and messed around with. Also, one more thing, I'm sorry again about having this conversation about books. The book, blah, blah, blah. Cornelius having difficulty with characters not being as accessible to you because they're too fancy in some or whatever way. I recommend, I don't know if I even should recommend you this guy because it's pretty like grotesque, but Charles Bukowski, in whatever form, he's written like a lot of fiction and he's more famous for his poetry, but I've only read 2, and there's pictures of like 9 books back here that he's written, but I think his most famous ones are Ham on Rye Post Office and Factotum are both just about kind of a terrible, not terrible, his life seems awful if you think about it objectively, but since it's from his point of view, it's just him doing whatever he can to like be able to drink, which is what he likes, but it's basically just this one man working shitty jobs so he can have money to drink and find ladies. You know, just general ladies. And it's leads him into some weird situations that are graphic, and it leans more towards realism, I guess you could say, since you were mentioning how Cornelius fancied realism, although I doubt any student in this day and age would have trouble with irony. We're born ironically intelligent, hyper-developed now. I mean, yeah, it's not a problem a student of 2014 would have. Anyway, bye-bye. See you soon. Good, or whenever you want, do your thing, make your documentaries.
Bye.